Hello everyone, welcome back to Text Tech with Hema. In our last session, we learned Java basics. In that chapter 1, we learned what is Java, what is JVM, what is bytecode, what is the main method, those things we learned. In today's session, we are going to learn what is data types and what is the variable. The data type is the nothing but it's a type of data can be stored into the variable. So the declaring the variable, this is the first concept, and when we are going to declare any variable that time, we need to define the that variable what type of data going to store. So first we need to understand that this is the variable. For example, a variable name is a age. The variable is nothing but it's a name given to the memory. Okay, in a memory, when we are writing any code, any program, that time multiple variables, multiple characters comes into the picture. So that time we need to define the specific names into the that role. Similarly, so every person's having their unique name like that. We need to define the unique name for the each and every variable. So here is the when we are going to declare any variable, data types comes in a picture because that variable what type of data going to store that we need to understand, and corresponding that we need to decide this variable needs to declare with the this data type. So what are the data types we have in a Java? The two data types. One is a primitive data types, another is a non-primitive data types. So primitive data types is nothing but the byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. These are the primitive data types. See, this is the example I already provided here. You can go through and understand. So the primitive having the categories: integer type of data, decimal type of data, character type of data, boolean type of data. Corresponding that we have the data types listed into the our Java. Int, long, those are the having their specific predefined range. So corresponding that range, they can able to store their data. So decimal type. Inside the decimal type, the whatever the decimals, fractions data we are need to store. So corresponding that we need to choose the float. Float having their specific range, and corresponding that float will be store the data. Double, similarly, char. When we want to store character, that time we need to use the char keyword. These are the keywords. So when we are going to use that, we need to use the char grade this way. The grade is the variable name and char is the data type. Whatever after declaration, we initialize this grade with the a value. So this is the concept. So boolean true false. Whatever when we want to store the data only is a true or false. So is a true or false, that result will be stored inside the that result gets stored inside the boolean data type. Similarly, non-primitive data types having their own categories. String, that time we need to use the string data type. This is a non-primitive data type. Similarly, int array, this is also array. When we are any type of array, so we can define this not only int float array, also char array also there. This is the primitive and non-primitive data types. So here we can mention what are the primitive and non-primitive. So as per that, we created the separate classes for both, and we define the corresponding variables. Under the primitive data type, what type of variable we can define, and under non-primitive data type, what type of non-primitive variables we can define. So those things, corresponding classes we added. So here we created the object and we access the all the parameters of those classes. So this way, I hope the concept is clear. The data types comes in picture when we are going to declare any variable. So what is the variable? Variable is the name given to the memory. And when we are giving any name, that time we need to decide also that memory what type of data going to store. So that is the data type. Corresponding that we need to select the data type. Today we learned variables store the data and Java provides the different data types like int, double, boolean and char. Also we learned how to choose the correct data type for the correct use case. That's it. So see you soon with our next chapter, loops and control. Happy coding!